So here we are grafting persimmons again. This is a side-to-side lazy man's graft of a Fuyu persimmon onto a Native American persimmon in a pot. And so these will need to heal together for about 3 months before I separate them. It's much easier than the old budding operation, especially with persimmons. Persimmons are a bit harder to graft than citrus, but it can be done. Here's the graft on this Fuyu right down here. You see where it gets smaller. The native persimmon tends to dwarf the Asian persimmon, and this is a small one here, but it had lots of fruit last year. There's a little Murcott tangerine, late season tangerine. And then over here I have my jump grafts on the Fuyu. You may have seen these before a couple of years ago. Here's the first graft. This is the graft right down here. You can see the line where the bark changes, runs down to here. You can nearly always find the graft on these later. The Asian persimmon has smoother bark. You see the American persimmon is kind of a alligatory rough bark. So this tree has got, it's probably 4 inches in diameter now and had quite a bit of fruit last year. Here it is middle of winter and the tree is beginning to drop the extra branches that it doesn't need. Typically the lower branches will self-prune. Like here we go, you can pull some of these off. You see they're self-pruning, so it is unlike citrus. Citrus doesn't do this. So there'll be a lot of these that will prune off. I've already done dozens and dozens of them. And so if you have a failure in one of your grafts, don't beat yourself up about it, because it may be that you picked a limb that was just destined to die anyway. This next one, this is the jump graft, was an upside down graft, and that's why it has the appearance of a 7. You'll notice that the graft was done upside down, and I hope you know what I mean by that. Basically, when I grafted off of this tree here, I bent it down, and here's the graft right here. But because this part of the tree is growing in this direction, it would not grow backwards. And so this original graft will eventually die off, and this will heal back, and eventually it'll be straight. But as you can see, the tree has to grow about 4 more inches in diameter before it'll be straight. Meanwhile, we have a 7, and this is the new sprout on the graft, and it goes up, has quite a bit of fruit. Then I took a jump graft off of it over to right here on this next persimmon. You can see the graft right in there. And because this is a very long sprout of the rootstock here. Actually, I'm going the wrong direction. It goes this direction. Up and up and up and up and up and over. And then back down to the root. That root is as big around as my thigh, so it should have plenty of nutrition. And so this graft is a bit of an experiment. You can see it has put on a lot of new growth, and it had pretty good fruit last year. Here's another sprout on it. And then on the rootstock I also did another graft here. Right here you can see the bark changing. And a third graft over here. This is an upside down graft with a fair amount of twig dieback, self-pruning. All this is dead wood, but that's a nice healthy limb there. This is the upside down graft, and you see the stub is stopped there, and it's putting on sprouts on this side. This one's probably dead too, yeah. The ones that go down typically are the ones that are pruned off first. So might as well get them out of the way. Yeah, that's much cleaner. And of course the rootstock does send up lots of sprouts around it. And this is a choice you'll have to make, whether to clip all these off and try to eliminate, or to graft them themselves, because these are perfect grafting size, you'll notice, which is pencil size or 1/4 inch. And then I had a fourth tree jump graft over here. Unfortunately, this whole tree died back, and so I cut it back to the ground. And there are a bunch of sprouts here. I'm glad I left a few sprouts, because I can graft these later. So this one I lost all the grafts because I lost the root stock. So good luck growing persimmons and grafting them. This is a seedling Tananashi here, and this tree is 6 years old. You can count the years on it. They have a long taproot and they grow very fast. This is the first year's growth. Second year's growth is right there. Grows about, I would say, 4 to 5 feet per year. And if you see where the bunch of branches comes off, that's 1 year's growth. All this vine that's dead here is coral vine, which leaves the nice seeds, and it dies back to the root but comes back every year and provides lots of beautiful pink flowers and honey for the bees. So you can grow your persimmons from seed. The seedling persimmons tend to have between 3 and 8 seeds per fruit. And so it's a good source of seeds for your propagation efforts if you ever get a seedling going. Meantime, you can buy the fruit at the market and eat them. You'll find 1 seed in every 100 fruit approximately. It's very random. And most of those seeds will not come up. But if they're normal size, good big fat things, they probably will sprout. Just put them in some damp soil and keep them warm, and you'll have a seedling come along.